In a surprising and controversial reversal, the Trump administration has suspended the firings of hundreds of federal employees working on the United States nuclear weapons programs. Following a series of abrupt layoffs and mounting criticism, the decision has left workers in a state of confusion and raised alarms among experts about the potential risks to national security and public safety posed by the administration's actions, which are viewed by many as part of a broader, reckless, cost-cutting initiative under the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. This move has sparked an ongoing debate over whether the focus on slashing federal budgets is undermining critical programs responsible for safeguarding the nation's nuclear capabilities. The firings and their immediate fallout on Thursday evening, as part of an effort to streamline operations within the Department of Energy, DOE, roughly 350 employees working for the National Nuclear Security Administration, NNSA, were abruptly laid off. The layoffs affected personnel across several key positions, including those with top-level security clearances. Many workers were blindsided by the decision, with some being locked out of their offices and even losing access to email accounts before they were officially notified. The situation was made all the more chaotic as workers arrived on Friday morning to find their offices closed and their access denied. Among the hardest-hit facilities was the Pantex Plant, located near Amarillo, Texas. Known for its sensitive work on reassembling nuclear warheads, the plant experienced significant cuts. Nearly 30% of its workforce was terminated. This plant is a critical component of the United States nuclear arsenal, and its employees handle tasks that require some of the highest levels of security clearance in the government. The firings were part of a broader initiative under the Trump administration's Department of Government Efficiency, which targeted approximately 2,000 DOE employees across various sectors, including energy efficiency programs and nuclear waste management. The DOGE initiative, spearheaded by a team from Elon Musk's ventures, has been widely criticized for its apparent lack of understanding of the departments it seeks to streamline. Daryl Kimball, the executive director of the Arms Control Association, raised concerns, stating that the DOGE team lacked knowledge about the essential functions of the DOE, particularly when it comes to managing the United States nuclear weapons programs. They don't seem to realize that it's actually the Department of Nuclear Weapons more than it is the Department of Energy, Kimball remarked. The reversal, restoring some, but not all, jobs by late Friday night, after a flurry of media attention and internal outcry, the DOE's acting director, Teresa Robbins, issued a memo announcing the rescinding of the termination notices for most of the affected employees. However, the memo confirmed that only 28 employees would remain terminated, leaving hundreds of others in limbo. The memo formally stated, "This letter serves as formal notification that the termination decision issued to you on February 13th, 2025, has been rescinded, effective immediately." Despite this reversal, confusion continued to reign. Officials within the NNSA and the broader DOE remained at odds over the scope and nature of the layoffs. According to some government sources, fewer than 50 staffers were fired, with these employees primarily filling administrative and clerical roles. However, the reality on the ground was much more severe, with several key workers from sensitive nuclear operations included in the firings. This discrepancy led to further questioning of the administration's decision-making processes and motives. One particularly vocal critic of the firings was Rob Plonsky, the Deputy Division Director at NNSA, who took to LinkedIn to express his concerns. Plonsky warned that the cuts could have severe consequences for the nation's nuclear security infrastructure. He framed the firings as a pivotal moment for the United States, urging the government to prioritize the stability of its nuclear program. This is a pivotal moment. We must decide whether we are truly committed to leading on the world stage, or if we are content with undermining the very systems that secure our nation's future, he said. His remarks resonated with many within the nuclear security community, who viewed the firings as reckless, especially at a time when the country is in the midst of a massive nuclear weapons modernization effort, nuclear waste sites, and environmental concerns. While the firings focus primarily on workers involved with nuclear weapons programs, they also affected personnel responsible for overseeing nuclear waste sites, which are crucial for the safety of surrounding communities. These sites, such as the Savannah River National Laboratory in South Carolina, the Hanford Nuclear Site in Washington State, and the Oak Ridge Reservation in Tennessee, house hazardous radioactive waste that requires constant management to ensure it does not leak into the environment. The DOE's cuts have raised alarm among environmental and safety experts, who warn that the layoffs could compromise efforts to manage these toxic sites. At Hanford, for example, workers are tasked with securing 177 high-level waste tanks that were left over from the site's role in producing plutonium for the atomic bomb. Any lapse in oversight could lead to significant environmental and public health risks. The Oak Ridge site, home to much of the early work on the Manhattan Project, is also a Superfund contamination site, and the removal of staff there could delay vital cleanup efforts. In a joint statement, U.S. Reps. Marcy Kaptur of Ohio and U.S. Senator Patty Murray of Washington, both Democrats, condemned the firings, calling them utterly callous and dangerous. They emphasized the critical nature of the work being done at these sites, noting that without proper oversight, local communities could face serious risks from nuclear contamination, disruption to nuclear security, and international perception. Experts believe the decision to lay off such a large number of employees could have far-reaching implications, not just for the United States, but for international nuclear security. Edwin Lyman, a director at the Union of Concerned Scientists, expressed his concerns about the destabilizing effects of the layoffs. He argued that the firings would create a sense of instability within the NNSA, potentially undermining the United States' nuclear deterrence capabilities. Lyman suggested that adversaries of the U.S. could exploit the situation, causing disarray within the country's national security apparatus. I think the signal to U.S. adversaries is pretty clear. Throw a monkey wrench in the whole national security apparatus and cause disarray, Lyman stated. That can only benefit the adversaries of this country, as the NNSA continues its efforts to modernize the U.S. nuclear arsenal with new intercontinental ballistic missiles, stealth bombers, and submarine-launched warheads. Any disruption to the workforce could jeopardize the success of these projects. In 2023, more than 60% of the NNSA workforce had less than 5 years of experience, highlighting the vulnerability of the agency's institutional knowledge. With a significant portion of the agency's experienced workforce retiring over the past few years, the loss of additional personnel could severely hinder the ability of the NNSA to maintain the nation's nuclear readiness. The road ahead, questions of accountability and governance as the Trump administration grapples with the fallout from the firings. Questions remain about accountability and the future direction of the nation's nuclear security programs. While the reinstatement of many of the affected employees is a positive step, the underlying issues of governmental inefficiency, lack of communication, and dangerous cost-cutting remain unresolved. Critics of the administration have called for more oversight of the DOGE initiative, arguing that the department's primary goal of reducing government spending is clouding its judgment when it comes to crucial areas like national security, the NNSA's role in safeguarding nuclear materials, and maintaining the US nuclear deterrent is not something that should be compromised for the sake of budgetary efficiency. As the debate over these firings continues, it is clear that the consequences of these decisions will extend far beyond the individual employees affected. The future of the nation's nuclear security, the safety of surrounding communities, and the United States' standing on the global stage all hang in the balance.